In this video, traders, I want to talk a little bit about your trading journey. Stick around. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate all your comments, like, share, subscription. You know the drill. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you so much. We're growing very nicely in the channel. Subscribers are picking up, views are picking up. It's all down to you, so thank you very much. Okay, so your trading journey. Now, this is a kind of little image that I've done here, and I think this quite accurately represents the trading journey, okay? Here you are, you've opened an account and you've done a few trades. So you go, okay, I've done a few trades, and let's say this is a starting point of, actually, I know that there's some work to be done. There's a very beginning trader goes, I don't know what I'm doing here, I'll just do this, do that, get a bit of luck. I think, well, this is easy. Out come the Aston Martin brochures, and they go, actually, you know what, I have to do a bit of work. So let's imagine that's the starting point. Here you go, you're starting. And you see in front of you quite a steep learning curve. And you're looking up going, man, that's a lot to learn. And you kind of think, that's all this technical stuff I've got to learn. It's the strategy, it's this and that and the other. But you can see the peak. You go, listen, if I just get a winning strategy, if I could just get something that dialed in, then I'm going to be wealthy. You know, we'll start making some money. I think it's going to be good. And you kind of plod along, and maybe you do some work, and you're kind of researching, and you're reading books, and watching YouTube videos, and doing all this kind of stuff. And you go, and you get up, and you go, and then you kind of, why is it not working? It's not working. And you'll get to this point here, and all of a sudden, you see the mammoth journey that's ahead of you. And that is when the mindset and discipline and psychology aspect of trading becomes clear. You can't see it at the beginning. You're looking up at the thing going, I can tackle that hill. I can tackle that hill. You're going to tackle that hill. But it's a technical hill. It's a strategy hill. And then the rest of it is here. So many traders actually go, okay, I'm doing all right. I've got to learn the strategy. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. It can't be that hard. And they don't really appreciate how difficult it is. And point one is where a lot of traders quit. I guess there's some before there, but most people are prepared to put in the work to learn strategy because it's quite fun, right? It's quite fun reading about market conditions. It's quite fun reading about support and resistance. It's quite fun reading about price. It's quite fun, yeah, because that's what we love. We love that type of stuff. But then the tricky stuff is when it's like you work on yourself, your discipline, not over trading. You kind of take a little bit of the fun away, right? Now, I think when you get to this point here, and if you're like me, you really enjoy that self-improvement and committed to excellence, which is a slightly different phase of how you think about things anyway, but more on that in a moment. I think this point now is where many traders go, you know what, it's such a journey. I'm learning so much. I'm improving over time. But this is like time here. I feel like I'm getting somewhere, but I'm not really improving. I'm not seeing it. And the majority of people will be out of the game then. You know, that 6 month, 1 year window, gone, done and dusted. Not for me trading. Absolutely fine. Like I've said before, there's loads of things that can make you happy and wealthy in this world. So many things to choose. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Okay, so now they kind of plod along and make some progress, right? They start getting a trading plan together, start thinking about discipline, start thinking about rules, start thinking about all this type of stuff that they know they need to improve, and they start to make some progress. And then this sort of level where nothing much happens. Maybe 6 months go by and nothing really seems to take hold. And then there's an element of frustration begins to kick in. So the sort of 18-month, 2-year guys go, you know what? Damn, this is so frustrating. I've been at this for a period of time now. It's not working out, and I feel like I'm making progress, but I'm really not where I was, and I want to be further, and I'm frustrated at lack of progress. And so they start to throw some of those best practices out the window, start to focus again back on making money as opposed to the discipline and strategy side of stuff. And you will often have this steep downtrend where it just goes boom, and the performance just goes, the confidence goes, frustration kicks in, trading on tilt, all that type of stuff. And this is the point where, again, another chunk of people come out right at that level. And that's a 2-year window, really, 2-year, 3-year window. And that's the darkest hour for traders, because you have been through 3 years of trading and you don't seem to have anything to show for it. You're looking at this going, I am back where I started. You may be even less actually in terms of P&L, because you're measuring on P&L. You're not looking at all this skill that you've developed over the years. You're not looking at that. All you're looking at is this and going, and it makes you frustrated. It makes you disappointed. You are at rock bottom, and that is the majority of people gone. Out of the game. If they weren't gone then, they're definitely gone now. Now, This is where it gets interesting. This is where people dig in and go, okay, I need to approach this differently. I'm going to really focus on one thing at a time, sort of my discipline, sort of my mindset, get around the right traders, all this type of stuff that we know moves the needle when you're in this part of your career, 2 year plus, maybe 18 months plus. Again, I'm using examples of time frames here, maybe different for you, but it's that point where you've got some experience, been through the mill, nothing seems to be working, like, right, I'm going to dig in. And you start to see some improvement. And then unfortunately, I see this section here, little 6 month section, a lot of people drop out then because they build some momentum, they get themselves off the floor, they get themselves off rock bottom, they go, right, I'm going to do this, and they start to make some progress, and then they stagnate quickly, and they're like, their frustration is just too much, compound with that frustration, they're gone less, but it catches a few stragglers. Now, in this zone onwards, this is where, ironically, if you can get through this, it also looks like an Indiana Jones trial, doesn't it? Going through the Temple of Doom or something. But if you can get past all these booby traps, you can get to this point here. It's where the progress starts to happen, because you tend to be process focused. You've now surrounded yourself with the right type of people. You're listening to the right type of people, absorbing the right type of knowledge. You know what your weaknesses are. You know what your strengths are. You've defined yourself as a trader. You recognize the importance of risk management, of rules and trading plans, all those good stuff. And then you just suddenly go, you know what? I've been through it all. It takes what it takes. I'm just going to focus on every day being the best trader I possibly can be, controlling the things I can, ignoring the things I can't, and that incremental improvement. And that just changes the growth, because you then stop looking at P&L, and this almost recalibrates the scale. And ironically, when you're not looking at P&L, you're not looking at those things, and you're looking at process, rules, focus, all this other stuff, the P&L takes care of itself after a while. And you almost don't look round until you're like here. You kind of chug along, maybe put another year in or so, or another 18 months, and you go, yes, it's working okay, but I've focused, process, and you recognize you could be back down here at any point, so you don't take it for granted. And all of a sudden, maybe you kind of have a bit of a drawdown that makes you stop and pause and go, oh, things aren't working. And at that point, you go, hey, look at the progress I've made. I made it through all this. I've got myself focused on the right things at the right time. I've made this great progress now. I'm going to protect those gains. That's made me kind of step back a little bit, protect what I've done, protect my mental capital, protect my financial capital, and then who knows where that goes. You know, that then is up to you where you take it. But passing this point of, hey, I think that's all I've got to do. No, I can't do it. Stagnation. Frustration. Worst case scenario, I'm at rock bottom and doing it from. And many of you, I know many of you are this, because I've been here, guys. That area there is the worst. You just feel like beep. You feel awful because you've done all the work. Nothing seems to be happening, nothing seems to be working, but that's the time when you've got nowhere else to go with it. Like, where can you go with it? You can only improve. You're improving, and if you focus on improvement, you focus on the right things, you start to make progress. This takes out a few people, like I said, a little stagnation, but once you're in this area, once you're in this zone, once it all clicks in your mind and you become about excellence, become about the best person you can be, become about becoming the best trader you can be, the process focused, you haven't got those dollar signs in your eyes like, listen, it's me, it's about me, how can I perform my best, how can I improve, how can I set a higher standard, how can I do more, how can I, all these other things, they all turn the dial slightly, and it starts to lift you as a trader up. No guarantees, obviously, but this is quite a common thing that I see with many traders. And it's probably not dissimilar to my journey. That bottom bit is, it's grim, especially when you've done it for a while and you're just like, oh. So if that's you, keep at it, get past that point, things get easier. But it's not as if they get easier because you've suddenly got some more skill. They get easier because you suddenly just take the burden of performance off you and say, listen, control what I can control. I'm just going to become the very best I can at what I can control, and then let the cards fall where they may. And inevitably, if you just keep controlling that, then your P&L comes into line as well. Hope that's helped. See you next one. Take care. Get your risk managed. Bye-bye.